Thank you so much, Betty, both for the perspective and the concrete ideas and hope. I'm looking to Leo to say, can we have a question or two? So let's take a couple of minutes to do that. I am going to start with myself, but meanwhile, think if anyone in the room has questions that they'd like to ask these two wonderful women and educators. So Ida, I'm going to start with a question kind of following up on your talk about the lack of respect that teachers feel in being consulted about the path forward and about what's best for their students. And I wonder if you could give a little flavor, because we don't have one here, of where the parent community is, and I wonder if they might not feel equally disrespected in terms of being faced with a plan that has nothing to do with what they believe is best for their students.
It's the same. It's the same. Because the plan was presented.
Is that on? Can you hear, folks? Okay.
Yes, closer. Okay. Because no one knew about the plan. The parents didn't know either. So now is that we have started disseminating it. And for example, next week I'm having a conversation with all the parents of Montessori, because we have Montessori schools there that are going to meet in a place. I'm going to talk to them. But they are feeling like the same as the teachers. They are feeling they are not taken in consideration. This is the same when they close the school. Right now, there is a company called BDO, who they are paying $6 million to count the students per room, so they know which schools to close. So who knows whose schools are going to be closed? No one, until this company present their report. We are going to know it after they are going to be, they report. But more than that, you know something I always said, you see the students from private schools, they come with a large mochila, and heavy mochila, and you see our students with just 3 or 4 notebooks. You know how many years has been passed since the department doesn't buy a book? 10 years.
Oh my.
10 years. And you know a book is is updated today, but tomorrow is not updated. So 10 years.
Wow. I know all of us, I wager, all of us share outrage at things like what you've just shared, Ida, but I do wonder if anyone has a question that they'd like to address to Ida or Betty. Okay, I see 1, 2, and 3. Okay, lady in the back.
I think this is on, yeah.
Yes.
This is, so my name is Lucia Mendez. I'm a senior policy analyst with Hispanic Federation here in the DC office. So I was really struck by Roseo's request in November 2017 that he put out the Build Back Better proposal, and I think he requested about $8.8 billion for the education system. But the only thing that he laid out in his proposal was that $300 million would go back to rebuilding one public school per municipality only. And so I think that amount was about $300 million. So there's this discrepancy of about $7.7 billion where we're not being told where that money's going to go to, what it will be used for. And so I was really struck, Ida, by your comments on cutting pensions, on the fact that teachers are raising for their own field trips. So if you could provide any insight, maybe through the most recent bill, as to where this large amount of $7.7 billion, where are those investments going to be made? And
We don't know.
if you do know, what does that mean for the future of education in Puerto Rico?
That means that we are going to have the same thing we have had for the past years. We have to accept that we have been receiving federal funds through different titles. But you never know. They go and stay in a school for 5 years, and they continue. We have people there that are rich, that they didn't have a cent before receiving federal funds. And now they have built cities with the money of the students. I don't know where is going that $7 million or something like that, but who knows? Who knows? That's our problem. That's our problem. I went yesterday to we have the Oficina del Contralor. I don't know, like the controller of the island, and I saw all the contracts of people in the Department of Education. Some have contracts of $16 million, some have contracts of $19 million, and I asked, what are they doing for those $16 or $19 million? Those are federal funds, you know? That's the problem. That's one of the problems we have. And this is why I'm afraid of charter schools in Puerto Rico, in the island. Because if there is no control, we will have, a lot of money spent, and our students are not going to receive the benefit of that money.
Thank you. I think we have time for one more question only.
And
And I saw some hands in the back. There's this, right here. Yes, sorry. Just wait for the microphone for a moment.
Hilda Crespo from Aspira. I know that the per pupil cost in Puerto Rico is less than $3,000. I cannot imagine what will happen now in terms of funding for the youth that do not accept, the stay in the public schools. They're not going to have any money to support their education.
Yeah.
And our kids need a good education.
Yes, yes. I don't know from where the budget. If you analyze the budget, you don't have the $6,400 to give to all the students. So I don't know from where the money is going to come, and I don't know, really, if they are, selling ideas.
I apologize for the fact that I did see 2 or 3 more hands, but I know we have to move on with our agenda, and I'm getting for the signal that we should do that. I do want to call your attention to one thing as we wrap up, which is in your packet or was in the back, and it's about early support for the plan that Ida was only able to tell us a little bit about today. And I urge folks to take a look at that because I don't want us to end on a note of despair, but on a note of hope around the ideas that educators and communities have and that folks like our chancellor have put into practice in other places that we know can help in Puerto Rico. Please join me again in thanking these 2 wonderful winners.
Ese fue el plan que yo le di.